So I wanted to share with you what I've been doing for the past few days. I've gotten obsessed with editing photos of my hand-drawn art so that I can upload them to the TeePublic website and not just upload them but enlarge them. Now this particular piece was, I believe, 8 inches by 10 inches, and I'm enlarging it to like 5,500 pixels across. So this huge file. And then when I look at it with that kind of magnification, well, first I erased the paper. And so the paper was white. You can see pink in the background where there was paper. But then there were these issues at the edges of the shapes where the ink had kind of flowed a little bit into the paper, so it's not exactly smooth. And then in Photoshop, which I'm showing you a screen of, we can go in and we can edit all this stuff in great detail and make all the edges of all of the shapes much smoother than they were in the original, and at great resolution. I mean, this is like this. These are these little tiny shapes, and I'm looking at them really close up. But as I showed you in a previous video, this thing can be enlarged to the size of a bedspread, so it can't. I don't want it to have all these little roughnesses in it. So, but in theory, this should be a very boring thing to do, I think, to go over each and every edge. And there I had to undo something because I didn't like how it turned out. And I've been doing this with 4 nights, and I'm only about halfway through this piece. And the original piece didn't take that long to draw, and I drew it with Sharpie on paper. But I've just gotten it just fascinated with this process. I just find it hypnotizing to retrace all these shapes like this. And sometimes I erase an edge, and sometimes I add to an edge with a, kind of expand it. So here it's expanding a little bit. And I'm just trying to make all the shapes smoother so that if they are expanded to the size of a bedspread, they will look better. And I don't know why I find this. Here we have the polygonal lasso tool to get into those little corners. And I don't know why I find this process so utterly fascinating, but it's just been totally absorbing, and I can't do anything else, and I feel sad and sorry for myself when I have to do something else. This is a picture that I drew in 2018. It was the cover art for the exhibits that I did in the libraries in Brooklyn. I wanted to upload it to TeePublic, but you'll see that there are some problems. First, the page is bent. Second, on one side of the page there's shadow. Third, on the other side of the page there's shine. I didn't think this would make a very good t-shirt the way it is. Unfortunately, the original has faded after display, and it doesn't look as bright anymore. So I wanted to use this photograph. Unfortunately, I didn't take a video of what I was doing. I did use warp and distort in Photoshop to make the image rectangular. Then I tried 2 different things to recreate the image. The goal was to eliminate the shadow and at least part of the shine. This was the first attempt. In this attempt, I primarily used image adjustments, like removing shadows and changing colors and brightness. But some of the colors were a bit faded in this version. This version was created almost entirely with the healing brush. I used the healing brush to recreate the shadowed and shiny areas by copying areas that were not shadowed or shiny. I did leave a little shine in a few places. I ended up uploading both of these versions to the TeePublic website. I'm really impressed with the healing brush. I feel that the result here recaptures the colors and appearance of the original much better than my first edit attempt.